I can bring people into a spreadsheet, and these are the projected prices that we're going to buy these mortgages at. This is the unpaid principal balance for all these mortgages. Just kind of fooling around with these numbers, 10, 12, 8, 6, doesn't really matter, but it kind of does. I became a buyer and a seller. Get back to that. So, like I said, when I'm talking to this seller, I'm a buyer, then I become a seller, all within this tape. Now, I could become a borrower. Let's say I could borrow 50 grand or 100 grand to buy these notes. I could take that 50 grand that I borrowed at 8%, and I can lend it to you because you and I are working on this trade together. I can lend you that 50 grand, and I can keep 4% for myself as kind of an arbitrage. All right, so I borrowed 50 off of her. I lend you 50. You lent it to me at 8. I'll give you your 8% when he starts giving me my 12%. I keep 4% and I pay that way. So I become a borrower and a lender in this trade. I'm still in this trade. And then Cliff says, listen, I got to get into this note business. I got 10 grand. I don't know what I'm doing. He gives me 10 grand. I said, why don't you be my partner? And I'll partner up on 2 of these notes. So I take the 10 grand. I buy 2 notes. Now we're partners. You're going to get 50% of the back end. I'm going to get 50% of the back end. All I have to do is bring my spreadsheets and all that stuff. And he just brings his checkbook. And, of course, I need to be an investor. I need to know what I'm doing. I need to know how to invest. How am I doing the due diligence? How am I populating a spreadsheet? How am I keeping track of all this crap that's going on by being the buyer? I got to be the buyer to this guy. I got to be a seller because I'm selling these out to 3 other people that I'm sharing on the spreadsheet. I'm a borrower because I borrowed 50 grand off of her, and I'm a lender because I lent him 50 grand. It's a lot to keep track of, right? But you can make money off of each position on this and not have to spend any of your own money. Or I can come in with 50 grand and now I can partner up with Cliff and buy 20 notes instead of just 2 or 3 or 5. So you need to start thinking a little bit larger instead of, I gotta go out and close this deal. Well, are you using your own money? Are you using someone else's money? If you start thinking about this, being one of these 6 or being all 6 of these things. You can do this with real estate, you can do this with notes, you can do this with, but I guess the main tool would be, the main tool that I use is pretty ridiculous, really. Let me pull it up on my. This was a $12 app. It's an HP emulator, which is a financial calculator. Are you guys familiar with financial calculators?
Yes.
Does everybody know about, really intimate with the 5 buttons that are up on top?
No.
Who is? Anybody really intimate with the 5 buttons up on top? Okay, then I'll show it to you. The way the 5 buttons up on top work, I just started really, I was just like you guys. I've been in the no business since 2007. I've been buying real estate since 1999. I looked at this thing and I'm like, I've been working as a machinist my whole life, and I still couldn't wrap my head around this thing until I had to one day. The 5 buttons up on top. So let's take this out of the note business for a minute, and let's move this into car dealership. You walk into a car dealership, you just sold a house, you just made a nice chunk of change. You want to get yourself a nice car. You walk in, you found a car for, I don't even know what cars go for anymore. 50 grand, 40 grand? Can you still get a car? I haven't bought a new car in 10 years. You walk in there and you say, listen, here's a car for $43,623.18 at a 2.99 financing ratio for 5 years. Well, what do you do with those numbers? I mean, that's, how do you work that math out? Well, I may even actually have them. Bear with me a second here. I'd like to show you on the screen. If I put one on this computer. Anybody see a financial calculator up here? There should be an icon. No. Nothing. Okay.
Can you download it?
You can probably just.
Yeah, I don't want to waste you guys' time. You don't see an icon up here, do you?
No, I don't.
All right. This presentation's going nowhere. Okay, so on a financial calculator, the way it works is this: you've got 5 inputs, and it sounds like a lot. It's like, oh great, here we go into math land, formulas, and all this crap. So when you walk into a car dealership, and he says, yeah, it's 5 years. It's a 5-year payment. We'll finance this thing for 5 years. Just $44,300 note. It's a note. For 5 years. Well, 5 years is 60 months. So the first button on your calculator is an N for the number of months. So you push 60 and you hit N. Like, all right, that wasn't too hard, right? So then the next button on there is interest, INT. So you said 2.99% finance. I put 2.99. Interest, INT. So I just populated 2 fields there. So I've only got 3 to go. But I get to solve for 1, so I really only get 2 to go. Well, the next button is FV, or PV, I'm sorry, present value. What's the present value now?
43.9.
43.9. But it's a negative number because it's coming out of your pocket. So you make it a negative, minus 43.9 for present value. Your payment, we don't know what the payment is. That's what we're going to solve for. And then the future value, after you pay off, after 60 months, what's the future value? It's going to be 0. So you put a 0 in for future value. And now the magic happens. Well, while this financial guy at the car dealership he's digging around, looking under papers, and he's got his stapler, and he's looking for formulas and everything. You hit the payment button, and you go, whoa, the payment's $350 a month. The guy's like, how'd you come up with that? I'm like, there it is. Well, I tell you, when you guys are out doing your real estate deals, and you get a number that you want to pay for a house, and you jam this crazy looking thing in their face and go, that's what I can afford to pay. We're like, well, he must know what he's talking about, because look at all those buttons. But there's only 5 buttons. I do this with note investors, and I'm like, this is what I can afford to pay you. So, I do this with performing notes. Who was talking about performing notes before? I basically take their monthly payments, and God bless you, I put these into my calculator, and if I'm not getting, and I don't show them that I'm pushing 33 for the interest rate, because that's what I want, a 33% return. I hit the interest rate myself, and I say 33% return, and I hit the present value. I hit that button, and I said, this is what I can pay you. Like, can you do a little better? All right, so I put 30% return into the interest rate. And then I hit present value. I'm getting a 30% return if I buy this guy's note. I can borrow his money all day long at 12% and get a 30% return and give him his 12% back and keep the arbitrage, keep the in-between all day long. I don't even have to ask people anymore, hey, do you want to buy a performing note and be in it at 12%? I just have so many people that are like, I'll take that all day long. Because they know that, first of all, I'm going to help them work the note if it goes bad. And they know that I'm going to do the due diligence to not buy a piece of crap. So this tool right here, guys, should change the way you invest. This is a Droid phone. I think it was $6. I think for Apple it's like $12 or $15. Learn. If you get nothing out of this whole weekend or seminar today or anything, this tool I've learned over the last 2 years is the most powerful purchasing tool that you can find. Because when you sit down and you're trying to get back to my slideshow here. It's a really polished presentation. When you get back into this situation and you do this, whether you're doing this with a house, you're doing this with a car, I don't care what you're doing this, you need to keep track of all this stuff. You need to keep track of, okay, I'm a buyer. I don't really need it so much when I'm a buyer. But if I'm going to sell notes to people, people want a certain return. I give them that return by using this calculator. I don't know how to explain how important this thing is. When I'm a borrower, I absolutely have to know that I'm going to be able to pay this guy back or these people back at the returns that you need to get. When I'm a lender, absolutely, you need to know your numbers. Guys, if you don't know your numbers, I don't know how you're doing deals if you don't really know your numbers. I used to do it like, I'm getting a really good return. I bought it for $6,000. People are giving me $300 a month. I'm getting a good return. I don't know how good. Well, now I know how good. I can calculate it with this thing very simply. It's $6. And like I said, if you get, I see a lot of people that really don't use these things. And so, I'll get down off my soapbox. Let me see. Maybe I can hit the close. Okay. So, how do you do these deals? Like you were asking me before, where do you get the notes? How do you find these notes? You need to have people. I mean, the people that are in my network are the people that are feeding me notes. The people that are in my network are out there telling me, hey, you should send your notes to Mike Receipt. Or, you guys can do the same thing. Get out there and be the note guy. You absolutely need to know the numbers by using this thing. And so where do you find the people? I mean, people are in this room. The people that you could be partnering with, Charles brought these people together. Charles got his network together. People are looking for deals. People are looking to partner. People are looking for buyers. People are looking for sellers. People are looking for investors. Be that investor. You can put these deals together yourself. I look at what the deals that I put together. I'm sure you guys could blow me away with the combinations of things that you could do in whatever business it is, whether you're wholesaling, flipping, rehabbing. That's pretty much it. I did that already. There we go. Questions? Any other questions? Yes, sir.
I was told in a note conference that you could never modify the original value of a note, so you couldn't reduce it. You're somehow doing that through a temporary?
Yeah, my servicing company does that using a forbearance agreement. And I know exactly what you're talking about. You are not allowed to modify. I do not do loan modifications. People ask me all the time, can you modify my loan? I said, listen, let's get on a payment plan that's going to work for you. I draw it up. I tell my servicing company how it goes. I'm not a lawyer, believe me. So I rely on my servicing company for those type of questions, for those type of legal stuff.
What I was warned about is if you did it, the IRS considers it a taxable event to you. Like if you drop it $60,000, you have to pay taxes on $60,000, not the person who.
Yeah, for like a payoff, you're saying. Yeah. So his question is it's a taxable event as you're as you're changing the principal and all that stuff. I rely heavily on my CPA and my servicing company and my lawyer itself. I'm not the best guy to answer those questions. I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah.
Go watch it, whatever you do.
Yeah, absolutely. I picture myself up in front of the judge. Hey, everybody should do that. Hey, you're standing there, yes, sir, Your Honor. So Your Honor goes, so wait a minute, you lowered their monthly payment, you lowered their interest rate, you took $20,000 off your principal. Why are we here? Maybe I could get in trouble for doing that, but I'd rather do that. But it's not. First of all, it's not going to be me standing in front of the judge. It's going to be my servicing company. They do what they do. They're a lot better at it. They do nothing but go to CFPB meetings, which is a fair debt collection practices, conventions. Talk about dry. But I let my servicer go to these conventions and all that stuff. So I rely heavily on my legal people that I surround myself with, and I let them get into trouble. I may have to appear in that. I hope not. But any other questions I can help with? Yes, sir.
Just again, what was the name of that app that you showed us?
Yeah, okay, so it's the HP, which is Hewlett Packard 10, B as in brilliant, and then 2 I's, II, 10BII, which is a financial calculator, emulator. And what this does is it emulates the actual hard calculator. The hard calculators are about $120. Batteries keep dying on them. This thing is amazing. Any other questions? Yes?
What due diligence do you do when looking for a servicing company?
That's a great question. What's the due diligence that you do when looking for a servicing company? I'm lucky, my partner owns a servicing company. So, but you know, I'm not sitting here promoting my guy. The due diligence, and it's actually a way that this guy was looking for notes. It's a way that I go looking for notes. I say, listen, you can Google 200 servicing companies. Say, listen, you'll eliminate a lot of them real quickly when you tell them I got 5 notes or 3 notes. So I go, great. You know, we're looking for a 10,000 portfolio or more.
Okay, so
But then you will find the people that say, yeah, we absolutely will service your notes. What are they? What kind are they? Well, they're seconds. Oh, great. You know? So now you have to. It's an interview process. Just like when I interview attorneys to start my foreclosures for me, they don't know it, but I'm interviewing them. They think they're interviewing me. But I'm a big fan of getting on the phone and just talking to somebody. If they don't want to talk to me, I don't want to talk to them.
That's right.
When I talk to the right people, I know it. We click. He starts going, you do what? You know, you're buying non-performing mortgages. I get some attorneys, it just goes right over their head. You know, they see the numbers, they're like, you bought this thing for $6 grand, we're foreclosing, and we're looking at, whatever the return is. It goes, he just keeps looking for that $300 an hour. He's grinding it out. I'm like, man, I would rather do the note business than that attorney business any day of the week. But that's just, that's the difference between me and him. He's looking at it as a churn and burn, and I'm looking at it as I want to hit some home runs and a couple of singles and at least a couple of triples. So yeah, when I call up servicing companies, sometimes they're very short and they won't talk to you. Sometimes they'll hold a webinar and they'll sit down with you and they'll bring in the branch manager and they'll sit down with one of their field clients and I'll throw things at them. I'll ask them questions about, well, what do you do when the borrower stops making payments? Do you notify me right away, or does it take 6 months, or what's the process? Oh, no, we have a portal, and most servicing companies do now have a window where you can log in, you can see the field comments, you can look at the balances, you can see when the last payments were made. When the payments come in, I have them sent directly to my bank account. I have them sent directly to my self-directed IRA, wherever they're supposed to go. I make sure that every once in a while I'll take a look and make sure that everything's coming in. So yeah, I totally interview these guys. But it is servicer management. It's a hard part of this business. Anything else, guys? I think we're about to wrap it up. So anyway, let me see if I got a. Okay, anyway, my name is Mike from No Conference. If you want to get in touch with me, I don't know if you can read that, it's mike@noconference.com. If you wanted to sign into my website, once you, let me see if I can find that here. Here we go. What you do is you put your name and your email address in here. What I'll do, that automatically puts you into my mailing list. And I periodically write some emails. Some people think they're pretty funny, some are pretty good. You can poke around on the website, there's some videos in there. You can keep track of the upcoming events that we go to, so Charles and stuff. Of course, you can reach through Charles's website. I'm gonna become pretty active working with Charles and kind of filling up you guys' questions, and that's it.
Thanks, Mike.
Mike is also one of the faculty members who will be concentrating on your questions for notes and so on as part of the Real Deal Meetup faculty. Thanks again, Mike. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's fun.
Guys, I want you to take a good